Alright, what is up guys, it is Storm back here with another video, and in this one I am bringing you part 39 to the Golden Fox and Naruto story. But before we begin, why don't you just drop a sub, like, and comment if you like what you see. I mean, they're all free, and if you like horror or ReZero, then go check out my other channels. Links will be down in the description below. Also go follow me on Twitter, my new channel, Instagram, links will be both down in the description as well. And without further ado, let's just jump right on in. Gazing at Aisu, Naruto addressed Hayami. "I'm sorry, I know I scared you, but I didn't mean to." He then addressed Sasuke next. "Sasuke, thanks for looking after her, and for putting your life on the line for a dead guy. Just get Hayami and yourself away from here." Sasuke smirked. "Dope, just make sure that you don't die again. I don't have enough chakra to keep saving your ass." "You mean the great Sasuke Uchiha is admitting he's weak? Whatever, get out of here now." Sasuke nodded and grabbed Hayami, then took off. He appeared near Senjuro and the others. When he glanced at Senjuro, he asked, "What happened?" "I lost concentration when the fusion faded. The fact is, Zenos did me a favor by allowing me to fuse with him, when I was forbidden to do so. He gave me a certain amount of time to get the job done, and even without him, I still should have maintained the concentration necessary to execute my jutsu," Senjuro said, still angry at himself. Shinji spoke. "Be glad that you get to see your child grow up now. With what Naruto has achieved, there's no way he loses." Sasuke, with his Sharingan activated, turned to Shinji and said, "What is this? His power, it's unreal." Naruto has become the bearer of the light. Many have wielded the blade over the ages, but only a few achieved this level. Naruto has tapped into the pinnacle of the sword's abilities, Senjuro informed everyone. "So he's drawing all of this power from the sword?" Sasuke asked. Shinji shook his head. "No. The power that you sense is all Naruto." Kakashi was the first to say, How is that possible? How can one person have this much power?" "This is Naruto's potential realized. The bearer of the light, from what my grandfather and Uncle Ryuho have told me, is that it unlocks a person's potential, bringing it forth and making it a reality. Naruto's potential is being realized right now. I'm not an expert at sensing chakra, but even I can sense how powerful he has become. He was the one all along. The blade has selected the world's champion," Shinji stated with pride. Stadium. Naruto is still standing before Aisu with the sword pressed against Dragon's Fang. It didn't take Aisu long to fade from everyone's view, only to appear in the sky, high above the rest of the group, pulling his sword back into his left side and holding it tight. Dark flaming chakra was being sucked into the sword. When the sword was encased by black flame, Aisu thrust the sword in Naruto's direction, sending a black beam heading towards him. Senjuro was worried, and his voice revealed his lack of calm. "If he doesn't move or do anything, he won't survive." That is one of Aisu's. Senjuro didn't even finish his sentence. He was in too much shock to do so. Hinata, Shinji, Tsunade, Sasuke, Hayami, Sakura, Kakashi, Tenzo, Baki, Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, Hanabi, Neji, Lee, Shikamaru, Kiba, Shino, Ino, Tenten, Konohamaru, Gaara, Tamari, Kankuro, Genma, Yokana, Sasame, Ranpu, Makanu, Akuru, Futeki, Yasumi, Naya, Safaya, Jiraiya, and Yumi all watched with shocked eyes. Naruto had caught the beam with his left hand. Aisu was more than shocked as he watched his attack dissipate in Naruto's hand. The young man covered in the golden chakra cloak never took his eyes off the half-man and half-dragon. Sasuke was the first to speak. "Naruto. It seems he has achieved a level that surpasses us all." Shikamaru nodded. "So it would seem. I guess it's safe to say he's the strongest shinobi of our generation. He may not be Hokage, but I think that he'll be equally, if not more, respected after today. This fight, it's pretty much over." Everyone turned to Shikamaru. "What do you mean that it's over?" "This guy Aisu seems to always have an ace up his sleeve," Ino stated. "There are no more aces. This is Aisu at full strength," Senjuro pointed out. "The most powerful form that both Aisu and I can achieve is through fusion with Zenos and Soros. In the transformed state, Zenos' powers become mine, and Soros becomes Aisu's. He has reached his limit," Senjuro pointed out. That being the case, Naruto has become the bearer of the light. This is the ultimate jutsu. For him to have achieved it is nothing short of amazing. I just wish my uncle could have been here to see this. He would have been proud, Shinji said while being supported by Hinata. Tsunade took a step forward, appearing on Shinji's side. His father would have also been proud. I'm proud. Shino didn't speak much, but when he did, people listened. Naruto Uzumaki, the greatest hero Konoha has ever known, even greater than the 4th Hokage, has returned to protect us. Our lives, our past, present, and future resides within him. His will, his dream, his heart, it all lies with him. This war, without aid, Konoha would have surely fallen. His mere presence tipped the scale. He is an inspiration. When he displayed his power against Sasuke Uchiha, it ignited a fire in all of us to get stronger either mentally, physically, or both. His name is known throughout the world. In some countries he is feared for his skill, and in others, he is hailed as a hero. What I see when I look at Naruto isn't the overconfident facade that he displays. I see a person who fights, and always follows through, and to quote him, Naruto Uzumaki never goes back on his word. That is my Nindo, my ninja way. Shino displayed a rare smile as he thought back to the Chunin exam 6 years ago. Flashback. Will you take the 10th question, knowing that you'll remain a genin forever? Ibiki had hoped to scare the boy, but his words had an inverse effect. I don't care if I remain a genin forever. I will still become the Hokage someday. I never go back on my word. That's my Nindo, my ninja way. Naruto's confidence caused Ibiki to smile. Shino, who was sitting a few rows behind Naruto, couldn't help but think. Such passion about a goal. Naruto Uzumaki. Now I see why Hinata likes you. That passion, that drive. It will certainly help you achieve your dream, Naruto. End of flashback. Shino watched as Naruto stood yards away from everyone, seemingly unfazed. Ino looked at Shino, then at Naruto. It's funny, I always saw him as a loser. Sasuke was always better and Naruto was just the dead last. Funny how that changed when he kicked your ass, Neji. Neji turned away slightly angered, causing everyone to giggle. No one believed that Naruto could do it. Well, maybe Hinata, but other than her, no one. Then he pulled perhaps the greatest upset in the whole exam history. The dead last from that current graduating class defeated the genius, Neji Hyuga. Flashback. Ino was the first one to admit that she wasn't fond of Naruto. In her eyes, he was an idiot and an unworthy teammate for her future husband Sasuke. But looking at this fight with Neji, her opinion about him started to slowly change. Knockdown after knockdown, he continued to pick himself up. He doesn't know when to give up. She didn't think he stood a chance. Now she would admit that she couldn't beat him, but him defeating Neji was not going to happen. Then it happened. Naruto's chakra turned red, and before she knew it, him and Neji were fighting on even ground. Then Naruto charged Neji, causing a standoff that ended with both shinobi in a hole. When Neji was the first to climb out then stand over Naruto, everyone knew that it was over. You put up a good fight. You're strong, Naruto. But it wasn't. Breaking from the ground, a fist was planted into Neji's chin, sending him up before coming and crashing to the ground. No one, not even her, expected Naruto to be standing over Neji, the one deemed the genius of the Hyuga. It was as clear as day. Naruto stood over Neji, and seconds later Genma said, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki." The crowd was silent. A few seconds later, everyone was cheering for Naruto. Ino looked around and smiled. So much for being the dead last. Turning to look at Sakura, she could see the smile on the girl's face in Naruto. She would never see him the same again. What she saw was a person who never gave up. He didn't know, but this fight did inspire her to become stronger. End of flashback. Ino smiled while looking at Naruto. Naruto. Sakura watched her former teammate closely. He always protected me. Even now, he still protects me. I remember when Shikamaru, Kiba, Neji, Choji, and Naruto went to bring Sasuke back. Everyone turned to look at Sakura. Flashback. The group stood at the gate. With tears in her eyes, she looked at Naruto. Naruto, please bring him back to me. Please, Naruto. Bring Sasuke home. Sakura really likes Sasuke, huh? I understand you're hurting. Don't worry, Sakura. Putting his thumb up and turning his head slightly. I will bring Sasuke back. He always understood me. just when I thought he didn't. He always understood me. Sakura bowed. Thank you, Naruto. All she could see was the back of the five as they headed into the unknown. She just prayed that he brought Sasuke back. End of flashback. He didn't bring Sasuke back, but that's okay. I know why. Naruto even said it was when he was fighting Sasuke. He would have killed him, but he didn't. It didn't matter though. I let my anger get in the way of the fact that he was a friend. And no, I wanted to be the one to protect him someday, but even now, I can't. Yet he still protects me after all the things I did. Naruto, again. Thank you. Gaara looked at Sakura. He protected you because he cared for you deeply. His drive to save you is the reason he defeated me. Flashback. Why do you fight for them? Gaara watched as Naruto inched closer to him. They saved me from my loneliness. If you try to harm them, I will kill you. Naruto continued to inch closer. Gaara was a little surprised by the statement. He fought to prove his existence, and here was someone who was like him, yet he fought to protect his friends. End of flashback. You helped me realize that I became exactly what they wanted me to be. A monster. Now, after showing my villagers that I fight to protect them, they look at me differently. You are truly the best, Naruto. A small smile formed on Gaara's face. Naruto blocked Isu's attack with the blade. Isu, who was still in his transformed state, decided he would try another attack on Naruto. This isn't happening. I will not let it end it here like this. I will make my dream a reality. The flame began to swirl around Isu violently. Yelling in frustration, Isu stabbed the ground, causing tremors throughout the area. His actions caused red beams to shoot up from the ground surrounding Naruto. After a few beams shot up from the ground, one engulfed Naruto completely. Everyone watched as Naruto was caught in a more intense version of Isu's demonic slice. No one knew what to think until chakra slashes flew out of the beam that engulfed Naruto towards Isu, jumping out of the way and into the air. Isu's eyes widened when he felt a hand touch his shoulder, turning his head slightly. Naruto, whose sword was extended far behind him, spoke softly. This is pointless. Just stop already. Swinging around, quickly slashing at Naruto, Isu connected with thin air. Where the hell did he go? Isu didn't have time to even look for Naruto. You could feel a strong gust of wind that slowly formed into a stationary tornado, completely surrounded. He could feel the multiple slashes on his body as the wind was tearing into him. Knowing that he had to break the jutsu or possibly have his hopes and dreams end here, Isu filled the area with black flames until the tornado exploded. Suspended in the air, he looked down to see Naruto looking up at him. The confidence in the boy's eyes caused Isu to glare at him. Dropping to the ground, he continued his intense gaze. Who does he think he's dealing with? Does he not know who I am and what I'm capable of? He looks at me as if I've already lost. I will not allow that. I will not. Isu raised his blade over his head. When he brought down the blade in a slashing motion, in hopes to use silent curse, he found that his sword stopped halfway down. Looking at the glowing blue eyes of Naruto, he couldn't believe what had happened. For the first time in a long time, he could honestly say that he was unable to follow an opponent. Naruto stopping his blade made it clear that he had elevated to a level that was above Isu, who refused to admit it. Naruto's calm, soft voice caught him off guard. Isu, stop this. You can't win. You seem confident, Uzumaki. I applaud you on your newfound ability, but you can't stop me. Isu said, not truly believing what he was saying. Standing behind Isu with the sword resting at his side, Naruto glanced behind to look at Isu, who was standing as if nothing occurred. At least that's what it looked like to everyone else. That was until Isu felt a one knee clutching his stomach. Konohamaru was the first to break the silence. What the hell just happened? Sasuke, who had his Sharingan active, barely saw it, but was the only one to see it nonetheless. I saw it, but barely. Even with the Sharingan and its ability to capture all motion, I was still only able to follow barely. Sasuke answered Konohamaru's question by addressing the group. Naruto left out the blade and planted a number of punches in Isu's stomach. The exact amount is something I couldn't tell you. Kakashi, who had his headband over his eye, slowly lifted up to reveal the Sharingan in his left eye. If that's the case, I must know what we're dealing with. Kiba's laughter caused everyone to look at the young man. Naruto sure is as cocky as ever. Look at how that bastard is standing there without the slightest sign of worry. It brings me back to our battle. Flashback. Kiba was standing in the middle of the ring with Akamaru. His last attack sent Naruto crashing onto the arena floor, smirking. It's over. That dead last chump should have known his place. He won't be opening his eyes, ref, Kiba said with a confident tone to Hayate. However, his confident tone faded when Naruto slowly rose to his feet, causing Kiba's eyes to widen in shock. Tell everyone. Don't underestimate me, a bloody lip Naruto said to the Inuzuka. End of flashback. Kiba closed his eyes and a smile formed on his face. To think he had come this far. Hey, Akamaru. The dog answered with a couple of barks. Well said, Akamaru, Kiba said as he pet the dog. Hinata took a step forward. Naruto, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is truly amazing. Yokano is the next one to speak. Yes, it is. I knew that this would be history. We all have the pleasure to say that we were a part of one of the greatest battles ever witnessed. Tsunade nodded her head in agreement. True indeed, but I will go down as the Hokage who did nothing to protect the village. I am a disgrace. She put her head down. Her balled fists were shaking as she clenched them tighter. Jiraiya, who was still focusing on keeping the barrier stabilized, glanced at Tsunade. Don't get so down, Tsunade. Remember, it was you who decided to seek Naruto out. You made conscious decision to seek out an ally who could help protect your village. Now you might not deliver the final blow, but you did make the decision to ensure Konoha's safety. You did what any Hokage would have done. You are a great Hokage, Lady Tsunade. Tsunade looked at Jiraiya for a quick second. Her attention immediately went to Naruto. Again, you saved me, Naruto. A genin protecting Tsunade. One of the legendary Sannin. How pathetic I am. You won't die until you become Hokage, you once said. Well, Naruto, it looks like I don't have to worry about dying. Even if you decided to move back to Konoha, I would not allow you to lead this village. Nope, not at all. I lead this village for one reason, and one reason only. And that was because of the bet that we made all those years ago. You learning the Rasengan in a week showed me that anything is possible, even getting over my fear of blood. Your ability to get people to put all their trust in you is truly amazing. Naruto, you are truly the greatest shinobi I have ever known. Tsunade stepped forward as close as she could get without stepping outside the barrier and yelled, Naruto, end it now! Naruto looked back at Tsunade. Sorry, Granny, but you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Naruto turned back to Aisu. His attacks are not as calculated as they once were. He desperately wants to win, and the look in his eyes, it doesn't seem as cold as it once was. Why? He has the look of a warrior fighting for a goal. What is that goal, Aisu? What do you want? Naruto stepped to the side, avoiding a slash. Aisu followed with another slash, which Naruto dodged. Jumping in the air, Aisu formed a seal with one hand and placed his index and middle finger to his mouth. Taking a deep breath, a black flame exited from his mouth, heading towards Naruto, who used Gengetsu to stop the flames. Aisu used his wings to remain in the air. I have the tactical advantage. Even if he's achieved another level, there's no way that he can. Aisu's eyes expanded. He felt a slight pain in his wings. Slowly, his wings began to separate from his back. He slowly descended to the ground. While falling, he glanced behind him, seeing Naruto with his back towards Aisu, quickly doing a front flip while descending. Naruto brought the sword forward and held it towards Aisu. The tip of the sword started to glow. Aisu remembered this jutsu from his fight with Ryuho, and from his battle with Naruto earlier. Shit, I've got to do something. Before he could finish his sentence, Sky Slash came at Aisu full force. The jutsu hit Aisu dead on, creating a dust cloud. Naruto landed on the ground. Turning around, he watched as Aisu crashed into the ground. Senjuro was speechless. Naruto clipped his wings in an instant. Aisu was going to use that to his advantage, but now he doesn't have one. This battle. Dark flames flared up as Aisu slowly picked himself up from the ground. Blood was dripping from where his wings once were, glaring at the Kyuubi container. He couldn't help but feel discontent for this warrior before him. Naruto Uzumaki, I will kill you. Slashing the empty space in front of him, Aisu figured this jutsu would work on Naruto. He couldn't have been more wrong. When the stadium wall behind everyone collapsed, the Raikage knew that Naruto blocked his silent curse. How was he able to detect it? Only one person had ever been able to achieve such a feat, and that was Senjuro. This kid, what the hell is he? Feeling a sharp pain in his stomach, Aisu looked down to see that he now had a knee in his stomach. Pushing his leg forward, Naruto sent him flying and crashing into the ground. Naruto couldn't help but think that this fight was pointless. Aisu was fighting a losing battle, whether he wanted to admit it or not. Yokana couldn't help but smile. Naruto, look at you. I remember our first encounter. It's really too bad that you never did take me up on my offer. Flashback, 2 years ago, Sun Country, one of the most beautiful countries in the world, was ruled by Sosetsu Kurai, the father of Yokana Kurai. A peaceful nation and prosperous nation. Yokana loved her country. A young lady going into her 25th year was bored with her life. She wanted excitement. People often agreed with her no matter if she was wrong and basically did everything she said, simply because of who she was. The dinner table at which she sat induced her boredom more. It did so to such a degree that her father had to lightly tap her a couple times to sit up. What a relief she had when her father said, "Yokana, would you please show these lovely young princesses around?" It was customary to show the princesses of other nations around the premises. It gave the males time to discuss country matters. While walking outside past the hand-carved dragon fountains in front of the palace, Yokana and the princess of Earth Country were talking. "You have a nice place here, so where are the guys?" The princess from Wind and Fire Pulse stepped forward. Yokana answered as honestly as she could. "Most of the guys here are too scared to talk to any of us because of our status. But I'm sure you'll see tons while we walk by just oogle at us and do nothing. That is true, which is why I love Shinobi. Especially Sasuke Uchiha. What a sexy guy he is, and I don't care. His attitude drives me crazy," the princess of Fire Country said with hearts in her eyes. "The Kazekage is so hot. But I do envy you, Yui. Neji, Hyuga, and Sasuke are very attractive. But you know who's also hot? Umi and Laylee may not agree, but Naruto Uzumaki." "You mean the Golden Fox?" Umi, the princess of Earth Country, screamed. Laylee, who was from Rain, was also surprised. "You mean the guy who just recently slaughtered a large number of our shinobi? Sure, he can't step foot on our land without being sentenced to death, but that doesn't mean he can't be attractive. I've never seen a picture of him, so what does he look like?" Yui pulled out a picture of Team 7, one that was obtained from the Chunin exams. "This is an old picture, but the blonde is Naruto Uzumaki. I wonder what he looks like now," Umi stated curiously. Aki pulled out a more recent picture. "This is Naruto." All of the girls gathered to look at the picture. Yokana really didn't care but was curious and couldn't believe it. "I've seen this guy before. He's actually here right now as we speak." The girls continued to talk. Aki looked at Yui. "I still don't understand why your village would get rid of the only person Gaara has ever said to beat him. Judging by his most recent exploits, I dare say he's one of the best shinobi from your village since the 4th Hokage. Now that I think about it, they do favor one another, don't they?" "Yes, they do, but Sasuke Uchiha is the best." Yokana tuned the girls out. She eventually excused herself and headed to the palace balcony where she remembered seeing him stationed. After getting up the stairs, she saw a figure dressed in all black. "What are you doing up here, Princess Yokana?" "I can only assume you were watching me. Father hired you to protect me. Why would he hire such a savage is beyond me." Her intention really wasn't to insult, but she did want to get a reaction. Naruto turned to look at the woman. "Savage, you say?" "Yes. Killing to prove yourself. All shinobi are alike. Do you kill because of something that you like?" Yokana looked at Naruto's family jewels and smirked. "I don't kill unless my life or the life of people I care about is threatened. So why did you kill all those shinobi? And why are you here now? Is it to get intel on what actions they might take on you?" "To answer your first question, they kidnapped someone dear to me. The answer to the second question is because your father asked me. The third, well, you hit it on the money, but I could care less. They can bring it on if they want," Naruto stated, not really showing any fear at all. "Mr. Tough Guy, are we? If we're so tough, why don't you reveal yourself to all the shinobi from Rock and Rain that are present?" Naruto turned and walked back to the balcony, smiling. "Typical, all talk," Yokana said as she folded her hands. "Again, I don't attack unless I'm provoked. I have no beef with them. Like I said, they made a mistake and paid for it dearly." "So serious, Naruto Uzumaki. Does that help with the ladies?" Yokana said teasingly. "Who knows and who cares," was all Naruto said. "Are you afraid of women, Naruto Uzumaki? Better question, are you afraid of me?" Naruto turned to the woman and looked at her from head to toe. "Why would I be afraid of you?" She narrowed her eyes. "What is that supposed to mean? I'll have you know men fall before my feet and are left speechless by my beauty." "Why?" was all Naruto said. "You son of a bitch, what do you mean why? Look at me and what I signify. Doesn't that say it all? No, just another princess full of herself is what I see. Naruto turned back to look outside. It seems that the meetings are over. You should go say goodbye to your friends. She didn't know what it was, but she couldn't help but feel an attraction to Naruto. Slowly walking up to him, she placed her arms around his neck. Wouldn't you rather that we stay up here and have our own fun? I didn't know being sluttish was a customary for a princess. This caused her to narrow her eyes. When I get back, I want you gone from my country, or so help me I'll have every shinobi from Rain and Rock here. You got that? She stormed off to say goodbye to the other girls. End of flashback. I was acting kinda sluttish, but to be the first person to speak to me like I was normal attracted me to you. I know that you love Yumi, which is why I haven't sent her to her death yet. No, but seriously, if I had to design a perfect mate, he probably wouldn't come close. Yokana smiled as another memory came to mind. Flashback. That same night, Yokana was walking around to her room and she was pissed off. I can't believe he rejected me. Does he not know that most guys would kill to have had me offer myself up to them? He's a fool. Nothing more than a... Yokana was pinned to the ground by a rain shinobi. Princess Yokana. Such a beautiful girl. Which is why it's a shame I have to kill you. Framing Naruto Uzumaki with your death will align us with this village, giving us an abundance of resources for the war to come. But before I kill you, I think I'll torture you a bit. Moving his hand that contained the kunai up to her throat, he found that it stopped when it got inches to touching her neck. What's going on? Ah! Was what came from the rock shinobi's mouth as a kick to the stomach forced him off of Yokana. My binding jutsu is what's going on. I despise guys like you trying to take advantage of a woman. I really would like to torture you, but your death will be quick and painless. Goodbye, Rain Shinobi. Naruto planted his sword in the chest of the shinobi. Are you okay? Naruto asked. Yeah, I thought you left. Weren't you scared by my threat? Your father, he's a good guy, and he asked me to look after you. You're precious to him, so I promised him that I would protect you, even if I was scared, which I wasn't. I never go back on my word. Picking herself up, Yokana dusted herself off. Never go back on your word, huh? I didn't know professional killer could have honor. That's not all there is to a shinobi, Yokana. Killing is a part of what we do, but it doesn't define who we are. Since you're okay, I'll be going. Naruto, wait. She was twiddling her thumbs trying to muster up the courage to say, I'm sorry about earlier. I was just trying to test you, I guess. You see, most guys I deal with are either too scared to talk to me, or are narcissistic jerks. Where do I fall? Naruto asked. You're just a jerk, but you're a guy, so that can't be helped. In any event, I don't act sluttish. I just figured that you put on a front and was like any other guy, Yokana confessed. I'm just Naruto Uzumaki. I really have to get going. Good night, Princess Yokana. Naruto, I don't normally do this, but would you like to have dinner with me sometime? She asked. Sorry, but my girlfriend Yumi would probably have reservations with that, unless it's just a casual friendly dinner. Truly, I'm sorry, but I better head home. Again, good night. Naruto left Yokana to herself. Did he just reject me? The youthful princess just smiled. You are indeed something, Naruto Uzumaki. A few months later, it was morning in Sun Country. Yokana and her father, who had been sick lately, was walking down the palace halls. Father, shouldn't you be in bed? Shouldn't you be spending your days with the man that you love and giving me grandchildren? Her father said playfully. Father, most of the guys nowadays don't. Meet your standards. Yoko. I seem to recall a certain shinobi though who does. Too bad he's in love. Maybe if your paths would have crossed earlier, her father said. True, but I'm happy for him and that Yusei, or whatever her name is. In any event, Father, what are we going to do about allies? Our country doesn't have military as strong as Konoha, Cloud, Rock, Water, and Sand. We should be reinforcing our treaties with these nations. Well, Cloud is a nation I don't want to associate with. That Raikage rubs me the wrong way. Rain and Rock seem to be under his influence, which is why I refuse to align with any of them. We broke our ties with Konoha a few years back, not because of their views, but I felt we were in an era of peace that alliances would not be required. Stupid on my part. Why not contact Tsunade and form an alliance with the Leaf Father? How about Sand? What about Grass? I've already formed an alliance with Waterfall Village, and that's because the leader has good relations with Naruto. He is also the only one who's aware that Naruto is in the country. How does he play a part in our political affairs, father? Yokana questioned. His involvement in Rain and Rock has made him an S-class criminal. Every village would ask for his head in exchange for a treaty. I can't do that, Yoko. I've had a chance to talk with the boy, and I can honestly say I would never do anything that would put a friend in danger. Right now, no one knows Naruto is here in Sun Country, and I'll keep it that way. You've interacted with him, so you know as well as I do that character such as his doesn't come around every day. Yokana couldn't agree more with her father. So I guess we don't align with anyone for the time being. We remain out of this war since it isn't our fight, correct? Yokana asked. Yes. I'm getting a little cold, Yokana. Take me back to my room, if you will. Grabbing his hand, she led her father back to his room. I need to ensure this country stays safe. Father, I know how much you care for your subjects, which is why I will make sure they're all okay. With the war going on, the Fuma clan would probably not be opposed to moving. I'll send a message to them, and hope they take me up on my offer. End of flashback. Looking at Sasuke. I'm glad that you took me up on my offer, Sasuke. She looked at Yokana. Lady Yokana, are you okay? Couldn't be better, Sasuke. I'm watching the greatest shinobi protect the village that has rejected him. And the world as well. How many people can say that? Not many, Lady Yokana, Sasuke said. Flashback. 3 months later. Naruto is walking with Yokana through the palace. Naruto, I have a mission for you if you choose to accept. What does it entail? The safety of Sun Country, Naruto. I wish to send an invitation to the Fuma clan. With this war, the only person I trust is you, Naruto. You've been a good friend. The Fuma clan, eh? It's been a while since I saw Sasuke and everyone, Naruto informed. You mean you know them? Yokana said, kind of surprised. Yes, I'm actually good friends with a young female named Sasuke Fuma. I'll deliver this invitation for Princess Yokane free of charge. Think of this as my way of repaying you and your father for letting me stay here. You guys could have ratted me out and have every shinobi from Mist and Rock looking to collect the bounty on me. I finally found a home and well, I would hate to have to relocate, Naruto said with a smile. Well, you might if you don't marry me, Yokana said playfully. I'll go back before you know it. Later, Naruto disappeared. All Yokana could think was thanks. End of flashback. Looking at Naruto, she was proud that he was a member of Sun Country. The Fire Country lost out. Fools, is what she thought. Looking upon Aisu, Naruto watched as the Raikage rose to his feet. Naruto Uzumaki, you truly are a strong fighter. However, you are not strong enough to deal with me. I will destroy you along with this village. Appearing high above Naruto, and everyone in the stadium as well as the village, a dragon appeared under Aisu, who landed on top of the dragon. Raising the sword high above his head, black flames slowly sucked into the sword. Hokage Monument. The citizens on the monument watched as Aisu stood high above everyone. The chakra level. This guy is going to destroy all of us, one of the younger shinobi said. Mai, who was observing the fight, wondered what was going on. Does it end here? Stadium. Senzu turned to Aya. Reinforce it now. We can't. We're just doing the best we can as is. Sophia. Remember our levels have to be even in order to keep the balance. Sophia is feeding the shield while Jiraiya and I are doing what we can to keep up, Naya pointed out. Don't worry, it should hold up, Jiraiya pointed out. His jutsu is going to destroy Konoha and everyone in it, Senju yelled out. Senju, don't worry. Big brother Naruto will protect us, Hayami said, while looking at Naruto. Sasuke smiled at Naruto. Dope. Too many people are depending on you. Failure is not an option. Icy's smirk presented itself once more. It ends now! A large dragon shot directly up from the sword. When the dragon climbed to its peak, the dragon came back towards Aisu, swallowing him completely. The black fiery dragon was heading towards Naruto, who seemed not to be fazed by this in the least. Naruto disappeared from his location, appearing a few feet behind the dragon. Naruto continued to float past the dragon. A golden light, which seemed to signify the slice which Naruto made, cut through the dragon. The black dragon started to glow white before it exploded in numerous flames. Hokage Monument. Oh no, we're going to die, those flames are going to kill us, a citizen said. Everyone was in a panic, and waited for what they knew to be certain death. In a building of Konoha, Ibiki stood with a few of his men. "Those flames are going to destroy us if we don't do something. We don't have time, Captain Ibiki," said one of the Chunin under his command. "Shit," was all Ibiki could say. Stadium. Naruto. That's what Aisu was hoping you would do. You played right into his hands, Senju thought. Sasuke on the other hand smirked when he glanced at Naruto. Time to shine, dope. Seeing the flames that threatened all of Konoha and his friends, Naruto quickly performed a 180-degree spin while holding the glowing blade above his head. The attack that he performed was Celestial Wind. The glow from the blade and the sun hitting it caused everyone to be blinded by the light. Waiting a few minutes until the light died down, Naruto, who was standing on solid ground, turned his head slightly to look behind him. Aisu was clutching his stomach. Tsunade, who was watching, understood what had happened. Aisu became one with the dragon to increase the destructive power of his attack, but Naruto was smart enough to cut through the dragon, injuring him in the process. Not only that, he used his sword to cancel out the flames. "You bastard," escaped Aisu's lips. "You gambled, and you lost, Aisu. Let me let you in on a secret about Celestial Wind. I can control the wind when using this jutsu. All I did was will the wind to cancel out all the flames created from that explosion. You thought that taking injury would be okay as long as you destroyed me along with everyone in this village, correct?" Naruto got his answer when Aisu's eyes narrowed. "Well, it seems that your plan has failed. What will you do now, Aisu? This battle is pointless. That jutsu was supposed to end it all. You should not have been able to stop me, Naruto." Naruto turned around completely to face Aisu. "Aisu, you are probably not aware of what's going on here, so allow me to enlighten you. I have achieved the bearer of the light. I am the light in the darkness that will protect and guide everyone to safety. You are the darkness, Aisu, that which I need to protect everyone from. However, throughout this battle, I have seen your eyes change. Confident eyes they once were, but now, they are merely shadows of their former self," Naruto pointed out. Aisu, who was heavily injured, ignored Naruto's claim. "My eyes have not changed, Uzumaki. They still see one thing, and one thing only." Fading from his location to appear in front of Naruto, the Raikage thrust the sword forth. It was stopped by Heaven's Blade. Naruto didn't even attack. He just jumped back, creating distance between Aisu and himself. "Why can't you understand the futility of the situation?" Aisu's smirk caused a slight alarm for Naruto. "Yet your eyes fail to see what I have done." Two dragons tore from the ground surrounding Hayami, Sasuke, and Senju. Black orbs formed in their mouths, preparing to fire upon their targets. The orbs faded as the dragons were split from the waist. Glowing white, the summons fizzled. Standing between Hayami, Sasuke, and Senju was Naruto, with his sword extended to the right due to the slash he performed. Aisu looking at the Naruto who protect Hayami and the others, then back to the one standing on the other side of the battlefield. Shadow Clone and Hiraishin. Hayami here has the Hiraishin kunai. You can't hope to hurt her as long as there's breath in my body, Aisu. It's not just her though, Aisu. It's everyone here. I've endured the trials and hardships to achieve this power to protect. There is no way I will allow you to succeed. Whatever it is you are hoping to achieve ends today. Aisu, I don't want to kill you, but I will, if I must," Naruto said in an unwavering tone. "Kill me? I will not die here, Naruto Uzumaki." Sasuke, seeing that Aisu had prepared to charge at Naruto, grabbed Hayami and phased from the location. Senju moved as well. Appearing in front of Naruto, Aisu swung a sword at him, who avoided the blade by leaning back. Aisu continued with the onslaught. Swing after swing, Naruto avoided each with the greatest of ease, with a wicked downward thrust aimed at Naruto. Aisu pierced the ground as Naruto jumped in the air to his left, with the violent slash aimed at the Golden Fox's torso. Aisu attacked thin air. Spinning the sword in his hand, he turned his body around completely and thrust the sword forward to the sky, releasing a concentrated black flame that ejected from the sword like a beam. Standing on top of one of the remaining beams in the stadium, Naruto did something that surprised everyone. He threw Heaven's Blade at the beam. The glowing blade ripped through Aisu's black flame slice. Aisu watched as the sword followed the path that his jutsu created. The blade coming towards him didn't worry Aisu at all. He dodged the blade by jumping to his right, while watching the blade crash to the ground. "Shit, every jutsu I use has no effect. I must find a way to..." Aisu tensed up when he felt something on his back just below his shoulder. It was Naruto. Aisu couldn't believe the speed in which he was able to move. He saw the blade crash into the ground, but yet he couldn't follow Naruto's movement. Gripping Aisu's gi tight, Naruto spun the Raikage around and slammed him into the ground. His sword was high above his head. The white glow transformed to gold. Aisu's eyes widened as he recognized the jutsu. I have to do something, or he never finished. Naruto brought the sword down in a piercing motion, causing a golden halo that destroyed the remaining foundations of the stadium, as well as buildings within a 2-mile radius of Konoha. Tsunade and the others watched and wondered why they were not destroyed by the golden shockwave. What the hell? Naruto, that jutsu could have done nothing to any of us. Shinji, who's still being supported by Hinata, stated, Golden Halo doesn't operate like that. The way it works is that the wielder focuses their attack on their enemies, without having to worry about those they didn't intend to harm. Since Naruto didn't wish to harm us, it's virtually harmless to us. Aisu, on the other hand, is probably dead. Usually you use that jutsu when fighting multiple enemies. It's a sure way to end a battle in your favor. However, it does take a lot out of the user. Well, in my case anyway. The saying for that jutsu goes, those under the halo need not worry, for thy will be protected as long as I deem. In other words, you will not be harmed. Sasuke watched Naruto with the Sharingan active. How the fuck does he keep surviving? The Uchiha asked, annoyed. Naruto was a little surprised to see Aisu underneath his blade, with one eye closed, breathing heavily. Looking closely, he noticed that there were flames in Aisu's blade. This caused Naruto to smirk. I see, you used the flames as a shield. Naruto looked at Aisu weird when he opened his mouth. Sensing danger, Naruto backflipped out of the way of the flame that appeared in Aisu's mouth, landing a few feet away from the Cloud's leader. Aisu, whose attention was dedicated to Naruto, listened intently to what he had to say. Aisu, whatever your plans are, please, let's end this battle without any more bloodshed. I still don't even know the purpose of this war, but I do know that it needs to end. If you continue with your course of action, I will have no choice but to kill you. Aisu disappeared behind Naruto. The sword in his hand was swung at Naruto's head, but he stopped it with his index finger. I told you that it was pointless. Naruto, understand that I'm fighting for a dream. If you ever had a dream, then you know that there's no way I'm going to back down. To end my dream, you will have no choice but to end my life. Aisu's words caused Naruto to close his eyes. So be it. Naruto appeared behind Aisu, who didn't even realize that he moved. He didn't realize it until a long, thin line started to form in his chest, slowly causing blood to erupt from his chest. When he fell to one knee, he turned his head to see Naruto with his back to him. Turning his head slightly, he looked at Aisu with sympathy in his eyes. He decided to ask the question that he should have asked from the very beginning. Why, Aisu? Why do you fight? What is your reason? Naruto turned to face the man. Aisu slowly rose up, holding his chest with his left arm. He turned to Naruto and looked at the boy. I fight for one thing, and one thing only, Naruto. I fight for peace. You're probably thinking, how could I fight for peace when I've killed so many people? Well, that's easy, Naruto. Sometimes, you have to do things you don't want to, in order to reach an end goal. War. I despise it, but I do understand what it is capable of. War sparks fear into the heart of the helpless, and it alters the perspective of all that fight in it. I ask myself, why does war even exist? What is the purpose? The answer I came up with is that men fight to rule. The purpose of war is beating your enemies, and to add more pieces to your collection. I, however, fight to end war, to be known as the true power in the world, the one that everyone fears. Respect will cause everyone to fall in line. I said it before, Naruto. This world needs a leader. The world doesn't need a leader, Aisu. It needs a champion. We as mortals have no right to decide how people should live. Doing so robs people of their free will. What you want is a dictatorship. Call it what you will, but people are savages at heart. The only thing anyone respects at all anymore is fear and power. Ask yourself this, Naruto. How many will fear you knowing that you are not only the Kyubi Cherokee, but you wield Heaven's Blade? That fear will drive them to hate you. It will even drive some to plot on to steal that power. No one will respect you, Naruto. No one, Aisu said to the younger man. I have all the respect I need, Aisu. People fear what they don't understand, and since that's the case, I'll make them understand. Aisu shook his head. You know nothing of this world. You're young and naive. I used to think like you. No, I used to be you. Even after my family was slaughtered in front of me during one of our many shinobi wars that inflicted this world, a child's only wish is to make the pain go away, to stop all who prey on the weak, the evil people, the ones who start wars with no reason, none that is worth the sacrifice of lives. What do you call the dead bodies that decorate Konoha, the fire country? I call it progression. Progression to a better tomorrow. You couldn't possibly understand me, Naruto. The only person who ever understood me was my wife, Hana. Aisu removed his hand from his chest and looked at the ground with gloomy eyes. Looking back up at Naruto, he narrowed his eyes. I swore upon her dead corpse that I would make the world a better place. I vowed that I would shape the world into an image that everyone would be happy to look at. Naruto Uzumaki, I will not let you stop me here. I have come too far to stop fighting for what I believed. What we believed. Aisu, every man is entitled to his beliefs. That doesn't mean I won't stop you. Naruto, let me tell you a story about a little boy who was born in a village 50 miles north of Rain Country. Maybe his story will help you understand the reason behind this, and why I will do anything to make sure that it comes to fruition. Naruto didn't drop his guard, but he was curious. He wanted to know. No, he needed to know. Aisu took a deep breath, then started to talk. It all started